Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Tata Sumo Grande. Yeah, kind of weird. Grande, whatever. I don't want to get into that. Anyways, this car comes courtesy of Durga Car Decor to me. And this is a light which might remind you of the regular first generation of the Sumo. This is of course the Mark II, the DiCOR version and the GX trim as well. Look at me remembering so much information at one go. Obviously it looks masculine, it's good amount of road presence as well. And the tire size on this vehicle happens to be a 235/70 16s. These are wheel caps, there's a side footstep as well. And from the side it is very boxy, nothing like the Mercedes G-Wagon of course, which certain car makers obviously try to copy. The rear has this split tailgate as well, or the split tail lights as well. And the tailgate, well, how do you open this? Okay, it has to open with a key. Now, I'm sure many of you won't really care about what this car is in terms of space and all that stuff, because this was obviously a practical vehicle in that sense. So, good amount of space on offer. The car is so wide that 4 people can actually sit in the center row. 5 people can sit in the rear, not 5 actually. You can comfortably sit in 2 people, at least 3 people. AC vents are on the top and there's this screen too, which means that it is very practical. Now I need to figure out how to open this. There's a button, I believe. Yeah, there it is. So there's this screen to keep the people at the rear entertained while you do a lot of body roll as well. And AC controls, AC vents. These AC vents are so typical of what we've seen in so many cars, including the ones from America. Usually American cars have that. Door pockets are really small and this thing actually opens. Yeah, can you see that? The window actually opens. All you have to do is push it. Doesn't roll down. It has to be opened, like it has this small gap. Not really helpful in the real sense. Coming to the driver's side of things, have kept the door open because sometimes it can be a bit of an effort to open the door. Side footstep really helps. Wood treatment too for the premium appeal. Dashboard is very plain and basic, nothing really much to talk about. But you've got this beige colored stuff happening everywhere, including the steering cover as well as the seat too. Meanwhile, outside rear view mirrors are internally adjustable, electrically adjustable rather. Air conditioning controls. This is the audio system. Storage space, multiple storage spaces. Yeah, pretty practical in that sense, along with armrest for both the front passengers. There's a nice glove box too, which has cup holders. So how do you put stuff here and then close the glove box? Well, you don't. You keep it open. These are obviously the controls for various settings like fog lamps, defogger, I think rear and front fog lamps. It's a clock which actually works, and the horn placement is very, very weird. So let's do one thing. Let's turn on the car, which means that the key is in my pocket. This is the key of the vehicle. It says Tata right there. Old Tata cars were not the best in terms of appeal as such, and there the car will not turn on because something to do with the central locking. But let's get started. Why does it not turn on?
Remove the key, unlock the car. Unlock the car, unlock it now. Okay.
Some next level NASA technology in this vehicle. Rose to life, and straight away let's get going. Firstly, let me tell you that the brakes are very strong. Actually, the initial bite is quite strong, but let me tell you, the thing with this vehicle is that it is huge in terms of size. Like, it's humongous. It's so big. That's what she said. Or did she?
Let's go straight there.
Okay, and here we go. Yeah, the engine feels nice actually, because this is the 2.2 liter DiCOR engine which produces 120 PS of power and 250 Newton meters of torque. Oh my god, pretty slick performance. Yeah, turbo lag is well contained and it obviously likes to go really nice. Brakes are somehow too strong on this vehicle. Something is open right now. Some door is open. I don't know why it's making some noise around the door thing. Probably my door might be open because it requires a lot of effort to shut the door. Mechanically, it feels very nice for a Tata car. That is amazing. Or maybe it's just because I was driving the Toyota Serra earlier that I'm feeling this to be amazing in different orbit altogether. Here we are onto the gas. Motor is not very refined, but I like the sound of the diesel motor. Very tractable somehow. It's extremely tractable in that sense, which means that right now I'm in third gear, and when I get into the gas, it still moves ahead. It doesn't hesitate, which is actually a very nice thing about this motor. And in spite of the heavy size and the dimensions of the car, it's actually very easy to drive, which comes as a big surprise to me right now. Brakes are too sharp somehow. It just feels too catchy with the bite. Meanwhile, the ride quality is obviously nice, but being a body on frame vehicle, you can see it moves around quite a bit too. Handling is not the 40. It's easy to drive, without a doubt. It's easy to drive, but it's still doesn't have feel from the steering wheel. No feel from the steering wheel. Lot of body roll, and there motor pulls becomes really vocal. Goes till almost 4,500 RPM. And this is actually the Sumo Grande. I would rather call it a Sumo Grande. Whoever wants to call whatever, nobody really cares about it. But the fact is that this was supposed to be the replacement of the Sumo. I'll tell you how Tata works. Tata is like, if I have made one thing now, I'm going to continue selling it till eternity. I'm not going to discontinue it. And same is the case which happened with the Sumo. The Sumo, when it was launched, it became an extremely massive success. Don't even know that is the right English, but still became very successful in the Indian market because it came as a multiple seater with a lot of variants too, which appealed to a larger audience base. While when Tata came up with the second generation of the Sumo, they decided let's keep the first generation on sale as well. That's why they took the name Sumo and they added another name on it called the Grande. Well, that seems fine, right? Of course it does. Then they decided, you know what, it's creating confusion. Let's drop the Sumo name altogether. Then this became the Tata Grande. This is the Mark II, which is like the facelift version. Now, as you can see in the city, the good thing is that you get a good view of what's around. Not a good, you get a massively awesome view of what's around. I can see almost everything, what's happening everywhere, which is certainly a good thing. Is a U-turn allowed or it's only a right? Okay, anyways, we just go right. So gearbox is also quite slick shifting, yeah, a little bit notchy, but as long as you don't rush it in, it's completely fine, it's doable. However, the steering could have offered more feel for sure. It's light, it's nimble, it's easy, and that's something which is great. High speed stability is one of the best on earth, better than the Bugatti Chiron as well, because it doesn't reach high speeds as such. Well, I'm just kidding, but you know what underpins this car is the X2 platform, which is also shared with the Safari, and that's the reason why its dynamics are actually very nice. It doesn't feel hairy, it doesn't feel out of place, it feels stiffened up at the right places. And also, I don't know why it has this habit of ringing the door thing mechanism all the given moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a right. Where does the right reach? Grab the motor, wheel spin it. Yeah, you're giving some amount of wheel spin and almost 5,000 RPM here into third gear. That's about it. That's about the enthusiasm I have for the car, because there is some amount, lot of amount of body roll as well. And then over bad roads, you know, all of a sudden there's a third too. So not really the smoothest in that sense, but honestly you won't care much about it either. What you really care about is the presence of this car. Road presence is really very nice. This is like Safari's little brother, which unfortunately was discontinued because after they dropped the Safari suffix from the car, then they decided, you know what, let's discontinue the Grande also, and they came up with the MUVs. And then they decided, bye-bye, take care, see you. I'm not ending the vlog, I'm just telling you what Tata Motors decided. They have this habit of, you know, once they launch a car, they have to keep selling it for years, and the horn doesn't, okay, the horn is on the either side, which is kind of funny and funky as well. So the same thing they did with the Indica. They launched the Indica, then they decided, you know what, we have to continue the Indica, we cannot discontinue it. We took so much effort in making the Indica, let's continue selling it. So then they got the second generation and called it the Indica Vista. Rather than just calling it the Vista, they called it the Indica Vista, and then they decided, you know what, let's drop that name as well. And I think there is a dead end up front, sorry about that, with the gearbox. And here we go, U-turn.
Yeah. Why everything is blocked today, I really don't know.
You just look at the turning radius of this car, it's absolutely insane. There's so much lock you have to give, it just doesn't turn only. So while I was saying this, that it's easy to drive in the city, I was absolutely wrong, because the turning radius is absolutely obnoxious. Okay, if this road was a little bit narrow and I would have had to take 15 U-turns. In fact, last week when I was driving the same car, to take a U-turn I had to go all the way to Africa. That is what is the turning radius of this vehicle. Absolutely massive for reasons best known to Tata Motors. And I like the feel of the car. It has that feel of the Safari as well. It just doesn't look cool as the Safari, but other than that, it certainly has all the coolness factor in it. I don't understand why the horn placement sucks so much. That said, onto the gas, the torque rush is really brilliant. 250 Newton meters is actually quite nice, but then this also weighs a lot. Want to make a quick overtake? Don't make a quick overtake. Don't decide to make that mistake. Just stand behind and wait, because what happens is it runs out of breath very quickly. It has a nice torque rush, but that cuts out abruptly, and then you realize you have nowhere to go, and sometimes the gears will also disappoint you and not shift. So while the gearbox is slick shifting when it wants to, it's not the slickest of shifting, because that notchiness is there, and then it will make grinding noises and you're like, am I braking something right now? Probably you might be doing that as well. And you know, the fuel economy of this vehicle was around 12 to 13 kilometers per liter, which is very respectable for a car of this size. Now of course this is tuned for fuel economy, because nobody really buys a Sumo or a Grande or a Movus or any of those vehicles to actually go to the racetrack or have fun while driving, but you can actually have fun while driving this vehicle because it is actually quite fun thanks to the fact that the motor is punchy, nice, and the feel good factor comes from the beautiful driving view and the road presence as well. So while you do get a lot of road presence, the only issue is that parking can be a little bit of a pain in your rear. However, mostly commercial people only buy this vehicle to ferry around 50,000 people in one trip, resulting in an average cost of travel to being less than 10 rupees per kilometer per person. That's like insane. I'm kidding. It might be cheaper as well. Yeah. Piyush right now is sitting and he's making this movement as if he's sitting in a Bugatti Chiron and all the 4 turbos have spooled up and he's pushed back into the seat. Well, that's not the case. I don't know how the brakes are so good. I'm absolutely shocked by the braking on this car. Okay, I know there is movement, nosedive and all that stuff, but brakes are actually very effective. Usually I don't expect cars to behave that way, and obviously all of us have impressions, first impressions and preconceived notions, which I also had about this vehicle. I thought, okay, yeah, it looks big, it will be difficult to drive. It's not. I thought, yeah, ride quality would be sucky. Yeah, it is not. I thought handling would be horrible. Yeah, it is actually horrible. But from an enthusiast perspective, however, body roll is quite well contained for a vehicle of this size, and right now you see the width of the car is so much that I cannot remove it in this gap, but me being me, I can still do that. And here we go. Yeah, baby, that is the sound of 2.2 liters of displacement punching you through with a lot of weight as well. This is like a refrigerator with a diesel engine, but 4 cylinders instead of what we expect from a fridge that is 6 cylinders. You know what I'm talking about. And on that absolute pathetic comparison, it's time to end. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up, that's a like button, or give it the Fanta, give it the Sprite, who cares? And oh my god, yeah, that took it in its stride. It didn't get airborne because of all that weight and more. This car weighs more than the Indica, the Vista, the Bolt, the Sumo, all of them combined. Just kidding, just exaggerating. Bye bye.